In 2005, a group of 36 individuals, led by Luis Fernando Ribeiro, raided the vault of the Brazilian Central Bank, making off with a staggering $70 million. Even though the bank was equipped with state-of-the-art surveillance cameras, thermal sensors, and alarm systems, the mystery remained. How did they manage to breach the defenses, steal the money, and make a clean getaway undetected? Meet Luis Fernando Ribeiro. Among some close-knit circles, he's better known as Little Fernando. Now, you might think of a 26-year-old as someone who's just setting out in life, perhaps starting a career or exploring the world. But Little Fernando? He wasn't like most people his age. His eyes, intense and always calculating, hinted at a mind that was always several steps ahead. If you knew him, you'd say he was a man of big dreams. Dreams as expansive and boundless as the sprawling Brazilian landscape. Fernando wasn't dreaming of a simple life or a regular job. He had an aspiration. His eyes were set on the Banco Central, one of Brazil's most significant banks. And inside that bank was his dream prize, a whopping 160 million Brazilian reals. When you convert that, you're talking about nearly 70 million US dollars. Fernando wasn't planning a straightforward break-in. Fernando was more sophisticated than that. To anyone passing by, it looked like he and his group of 25 companions were dipping their toes into the world of landscaping. They got a property not too far from the bank, and on it stood a sign reading synthetic grass. To make their cover even more convincing, they bought a van and had an advertisement painted on it. If you met them, you'd think they were passionate about lawns and garden. But what no one realized was that beneath the rented property, Fernando and his team were undertaking a massive project. They began their operation by digging, not a small pit, but a considerable 13-foot deep hole. This hole was the starting point of something much bigger. Slowly, day by day, the team carved out a tunnel, a passage that was about 260 feet in length. This tunnel wasn't a hasty job. It showcased their commitment to their dream. They lined it with wood, ensuring it remained sturdy. They installed lights, making sure every inch was visible. They even thought about the air, ensuring that the tunnel was well ventilated. Rumor has it that the team spent an estimated $20,000 on this underground path, and you won't believe what happened next. On August 6th, the streets of Fortaleza were as lively as any other night. But for Fernando and his crew, this wasn't just any night. It was the accumulation of their painstaking planning and labor. Their meticulous masterpiece, the tunnel, was about to serve its ultimate purpose. In front of them was their most significant challenge yet, a 4-foot-thick wall made of the toughest reinforced concrete. This was the barrier guarding the Banco Central's vault. It wasn't just about breaking through, it was about doing it quietly, efficiently, and without leaving a trace. As the first rays of the sun started to light up Fortaleza's horizon, the crew had already transported an almost unfathomable amount of money, 3.5 tons of it to be exact. The vault that had once been the stronghold of Brazil's riches now stood empty. All that remained as evidence of their presence were discarded cans of energy drinks, perhaps a symbol of the adrenaline-filled night and the sheer physical endurance it demanded. For the bank employees starting their week that Monday, nothing could have prepared them for the shock awaiting them. The deafening silence of the vault echoed the fact that no alarms had gone off. No flashing red lights, no security breaches caught on tape, just an empty space where millions once lay. However, even the most well-thought-out plan is not without its vulnerabilities. In the exhilarating aftermath of their heist, one crew member, perhaps overwhelmed by their newfound wealth, made a move that raised eyebrows. He bought 10 cars, all in cash. This splurge became the chink in their armor, drawing attention and suspicion. It wasn't long before Fernando's grand plot began unraveling. As investigators delved deeper, they uncovered not just the handiwork of a group of thieves, but a vast conspiracy web, ties to corrupt politicians, bank insiders, and more sinister elements emerged, revealing the heist's deep-rooted planning. In a sweeping operation, 36 individuals found themselves in handcuffs. Their fates varied. Fernando, the mastermind, met a fate that many would describe as tragic. And then there were some like the elusive Big Boss who seemed to have disappeared, evading the long arm of the law. Of the massive fortune that was spirited away, only about 8 million of the 70 million US dollars was ever traced and recovered. But tales of such audacious feats have a way of taking root in public imagination. In 2011, the shadows of the Banco Central heist stirred another ambitious plot in Sao Paulo. The stakes were even higher, the prize even more significant. This time, fate intervened, and the plot was discovered and thwarted before it could take shape. Today, the story of the Banco Central heist with Little Fernando as its protagonist occupies a prominent place in the annals of criminal history. It stands as a symbol of extreme ambition, intricate planning, and the unyielding human spirit that pushes boundaries in the quest for wealth. Yet, it is also a stark reminder that every action has a reaction, and every choice a consequence. No matter how well one might plan, the unexpected is always lurking just around the bend. Over time, as stories about the Banco Central heist spread far and wide, a cloud of questions has gathered, darkening the narrative. What's been most puzzling to many is how Fernando and his team managed to transport such a colossal sum without anyone noticing. Surely, moving that much cash would raise eyebrows, right? There are whispers in alleyways and rumors in cafes. Some say that the group didn't act alone. They might have cleaned the money, making it look like it was earned the right way. Others looking out to the horizon murmur about the money being sneaked out of Brazil altogether. Ships at night, roads less traveled. The stories are as many as they are varied. But perhaps the most intriguing whispers revolve around the police. Could it be possible that some officers, the very guardians of the law, had a hand in this? The 2011 arrest of a former officer linked to the heist only threw more fuel on these speculative fires. This arrest turned heads and raised eyebrows. If he was involved, who else might have been? And then there's the question that keeps everyone up at night. Where is the rest of the money? With a staggering $61 million still out there, imaginations run wild. Could it be stashed away under the ground we walk on? Maybe hidden away in a far-off cave, or buried deep in the heart of Brazil's vast forests, waiting for the right moment to be unearthed. Stories of treasure hunters setting off in search of the missing millions have emerged. They're drawn to the allure of untold wealth, armed with metal detectors, maps, and tales from old-timers. Yet, many return empty-handed, and their dreams of riches replaced with tales of adventures. Perhaps in the end, the true brilliance of the Banco Central heist isn't just in the act itself, but in the mysteries it left behind. Mysteries that captivate, inspire, and remind us that sometimes the real story begins after the curtains fall. If the Banco Central heist had you on the edge of your seat, wait till you dive into the story of Evil Corp. Discover how this Moscow-based hacking group run by a mysterious figure called Maxim Yakubits stole $100 million, targeting everyone from large banks to a group of innocent nuns.